Hi there. Just got back from our 8-day trip aboard the Red Rooster. It is, I think, the 7th of November, or pretty close to that. I still am sporting my scruffy look, which I began 2 months ago aboard the Red Rooster on our 5-day Guadalupe Island trip. This time it's an 8-day, and an 8-day trip is a variety trip. That's what it's supposed to be. And boy, oh boy, that's exactly what we got into this time. This was a wonderful trip. Absolute variety. First 2 days fishing. Well, I got to catch the first wahoo, first and last. I do a lot of observing on these trips. I do a little bit of fishing, and I do some, video type stuff, and I'm glad I do. It makes it a lot of fun, but it gives me a chance to really watch some skilled anglers and some newbies acquiring skills on the boat. And this time I've learned a lot, and I've got to revise some things I said on the last 8-day charter from last year, specifically regarding the DTX Minnows. Unusual, a little different program this time as far as the troll went, and we'll talk about that during the video. But bottom line, we'll start the vid up, and hopefully got some good stuff this time, and I won't pollute it with too much offensive music. But just a wonderful trip, great bunch of guys, good time on the water. I hope you'll agree when you see some of the vid. Wonderful time out there. And I encourage you, if you can, get aboard one of the better long-range boats. The Rooster is where we go for a couple of our charters. We also do the RP. There are several wonderful boats and good operations out of San Diego. Rooster certainly is among the most prestigious, for good reason. Over the years, they've really been one of the best boats to be on, whether you're trying to go for big fish or a variety trip like we did aboard the Red Rooster with Andy Gates being the skipper this time through. Andy did a wonderful job. It was just a dandy trip. In any event, we'll get on to the video and I'll stop talking.
Alright guys, good morning there. Welcome aboard the Rooster. When you guys get on the boat and put away some of your fishing rods and stuff, please walk into the galley and sign in with me here. I'll be at the forward table. Once I check your name off on this list, please do not leave the boat. Once we get everyone signed in, we'll get going here. Welcome aboard.
Signing up early for our charters has some benefits. And the way it works on these boats and the Rooster, basically you sign up for a trip at your earliest convenience, because the good trips go soon. I'll say in this particular 8-day, I think it already has a waiting list, and we just got back. But by order of your booking of the trip, that determines your boarding. So if you were one of the first people to sign up, then you get to board early. And this is an example of the room. This is the room I stay in, and I stay in a stairwell, a real small room, and by myself, and that gives me room for all my cameras and all that crap. But the other rooms are larger, and a little bit nicer, and typically they'll have 2 or more people in them. Most of the state rooms are set up for 2. There are a couple of quote-unquote party rooms in the stern of the boat, which we'll see a little bit later. But once they allow us to come in aboard the boat, we board by our numbers. You've got a position where your rods go. The 3 rods you use most often for a particular day's fishing are located on the side, the wheelhouse. And you've got 3 positions there, and then you've got plenty of storage for additional rods. Now that's one of the bigger party rooms that could hold up to 6 people there in the stern of the boat. On the other side, same sort of story. Typically not 6 people in there. But the rooms are nice. You've got a mirror, you've got a sink, you've got adequate storage, for all your gear and all that sort of stuff, that you'd be keeping in the room. For extra reel cases, stuff like that, they can go up above the decks, and then there's room in the tackle storage area for the bag you'll be using mostly. And then we proceed to get bait, and so we go to the bait receivers, and there's a Navy ship out there. This is San Diego, it's a Navy town. and we'll pick up the bait. And in this case, my gosh, Andy and the guys looked through most all the wells that are reserved for them, for the long range boats. They get the best bait, and should be cured. But the baits for the last month really have been a little on the small side. They're sardines. They're not, we're not dealing with, 2 eyes and a wiggle, anchovies. But, the baits were a little smaller, maybe 4-inch type of size, not super strong. Typically when we get in the better water, if it doesn't cook them, the baits will, liven up some after a couple of days. But still, on the longer trips, the expectation is we'll make bait in 1 or 2 nights. You can't help it. And that opens up, some other opportunities for us. And I did this trip too. But getting the bait is one of those processes we go through, and it's kind of interesting for all the guys. Okay, what's the bait going to look like? What are we going to be doing on this trip? It's processed, and they load up a lot of bait. And it's expensive stuff. If you're a private boater, I don't know, $30, $50 a scoop, probably is what you're looking at. And they just load it and load it and load it. So we've got good bait. It's what a lot of the guys will depend upon. To catch their fish. The plan for this trip, is to fish the ridge, and so we've got about a 2-day voyage to get to the destination, fishing the upper end of the ridge, the 13 spot. So we've got plenty of travel time, and during the travel time, the skipper typically will give a rundown. First will be a little safety meeting, the first day we're getting out of there, and describe the boat.
Like
and
said,
then the skipper will spend a little bit of time talking about what the plans are for the trip.
But the same thing
gear that we're going to wind up using, for the most part, reporting back on what had happened before on the trip, and then give a little instructional advice to the anglers so they bring up the right stuff. Again, we've got 2 days to rig.
That's where the tuna are mostly. There's 18 to 22 pound tuna. There's 22 to 35 with a couple of 40s mixed in. I mean, it's nice little fish. They're nice little fish. You got to fish for them. It's not like you just drop a bait over the side and you're on. You've got to fish for them. So I do have outfits rigged up that will represent something you're going to use to actually fish for the fish. You got to cast a bait out. You got to have a good bait. It's not like you just drop it over the side. You got to physically fish for the tuna. There's been very little yellowfin. And number one, most important, it's a destination. That's somewhere to go, which is so valuable these days. We have somewhere to go. So that's another part too. But a majority of the trip will be spent around the 13 fathom and outside and below there on the kelps. And the majority of the tuna and any of the yellowtail that are caught around the 13 fathom have generally been this big, 8 to 12 pounds. That's what it is. So if you're thinking, we're bound to get some bigger ones, that's what we've been catching. Just to give you an idea. So if we get into a situation, say it's in the morning, early in the morning, and we're dropper looping, and you're just wailing on these yellowtail, slow down. Okay, so with the Wahoo bomb, 50-pound test. That's what you want to use. Okay, it works the best. It's easy to cast. It doesn't stretch as much as 40. It's stronger. It's very easy to fish with. I'd recommend using 50 pound. You want to use something that's got a high-speed retrieve. Wahoo bomb, the art of it is to wind in the fastest. The faster you get the lure to move, the more bites you get. Pretty much fact of the matter. You don't need a horrendously long fishing rod. This is actually a little bit longer than I would use. It's an 8-footer. A 7-footer, a 700 gauge is pretty much industry standard. 700 gauge, perfect. But do make sure that you got a reel with a nice handle on it, something you can get some good torque with, something that's comfortable. If we're spending 7 hours fishing wahoo, stopping and going, every time I stop the boat, you're going to cast this thing out and retrieve it 10 times. So you figure by the end of the day, if you've got kind of a jalopy handle and it's hard to turn it, and the reel's slow, not only are you not going to catch much, but you're going to be exhausted. So look at what you've got. This is the Tern series of 600. 600 is perfect. For anybody that has a rental package pockets, you have a Boss 600, which is a 2-speed reel, a nice rubber handle on here, a long handle. Very, very good for this type of fishing. Very good. There's a lot of other reels that are relative to that. The Trinidads are all, and Avet has quite a few good reels for this, right down to the Newell 500 series. I mean, there's a lot of different reels that are good for this. Make sure that you have one that's got a big drum. Okay, that's why I recommend using a 600, because it's collecting more line as you turn the handle. You got a high-speed reel and the drum's this big around, it's not really collecting that much line. Okay, so get rigged up like that. I've got my 700. This would be a bit much, an 800, but this is what I have. So this is what I'm using. We like rigging them up with 69-pound wire. It's kind of the industry standard. You can go as light as 58, be fine. As far as these Wahoo bombs go, make sure that you have a swivel of some kind on the connection, because they spin. If not, your line's going to get all twirled up and it's going to get caught in the guides when you cast it. You do not need fluorocarbon on this. Straight tie 50-pound test to your 69-pound leader and you're good to go. Some of the factory-made bombs will come with 7-strand wire. That's fine. Those of you that are wiring up bombs, I would recommend using the single strand. It's a little strong.
So 2 days later, we're looking for fish. We're on the ridge, and I was passenger number 1, of course, as charter master, and so I got the number 1 position on the first rotation for the troll, and I put out one of those new Mag Trak lures, kind of a purple pattern. And I'll be switched. I got bit. Thing, tracks 100%, just perfect as the way the thing runs. Doesn't get foul, doesn't do anything, squirrely. The other 3 positions were DTX Minnows. Sure enough, I put mine in. I get the first fish. That the charter is off, that way. And I actually had the jackpot fish there for about 2 days until I got my butt handed to me. But our first day fishing for the Wahoo, we did the troll stops, and we wound up, getting 1 fish on the troll each time, and maybe there's one other one that came in. We had I think 3 or 4 Wahoo that first day fishing, but primarily the first 2 days fishing turned into tuna time. So a lot of the guys got to get the cobwebs off and grab some tuna. Here's a nice Wahoo that was taken on a DTX minnow. That was from the next troll rotation. And the majority of the lures used were those DTX minnows, and I mentioned that we saw some different rigging involved this time. That 175-pound cable works real well, but the Rooster's also having good success running those lures on 130 to 150-pound mono or fluoro, preferably fluoro leader, a fairly short tether, maybe 3 feet, that's crimped onto the ring on the DTX minnows. That also tracks real well. It always makes me feel insecure with a Wahoo, but it worked well. And I think there was only 1 or possibly 2 lures that were inhaled and clipped off by the Wahoo.
I was on my way down to Mexico. There was trouble on the rise. It was nothing more than I left behind, which was much to my surprise. I turned around and lit a cigarette, wiped the dust off of my boots. Went up ahead, I saw the crowd. I knew it was no use. It's been the same way for oh so long. It looks like I'm singing the same old song. A fine and fancy man was he, doing good things for the poor. Giving rides in his rocket 88 for free. They could not hope for more. When it came my turn, he said to me, "Have I seen your face before?" I said, "Oh no, you must be wrong. I'm from a distant shore. So if you don't mind, I'll just move along." But it looks like I'm singing the same old song.
quick scan over some of the reels being used. That's a Penn Fathom 40 lever drag, single speed, and it's the high speed version, which brings in about 60 inches per crank. Accurate 600 turn star drag works real well out there. We're going to see, that looks like another accurate. There's an Avet over there. The HX does real well. Picks up 11 line per turn at 5 to 1 on the gearing. There are a lot of pieces that work in real well for Wahoo. I tend to use the JX a lot on iron, and I was using it the same on the bombs. Frankly, the HX&J or an HX is a better piece to go with in that pin. And there's a Komodo Okuma, and those doggone things get real fishing as a bait caster. And again, they'll have some limitations, but some strengths, and I've seen some good fish taken on them. And here's Ben. Ben had a real good trip. Guy got a lot of fish, good angle.
Alright, I gotta come back down.
Yep.
Over the top of your mic. What's up, guys? The cow star. That's all you need to say. It's a cow star.
Yep. I haven't even seen the deck cam for it.
Big middle, four.
Back.
Like I said, we spent a couple of days catching primarily yellowfin tuna the first 2 days of charter. And these were some smaller fish like you've seen in that, I don't know, maybe 20-pound range. But there were some bigger models that were mixed, that we got into a little bit better grade of fish later on as the day progressed. But, good fishing on the ridge for the tuna, and that gets a lot of the cobwebs off for some of the guys that haven't been out here for a while. And quite a range of anglers, as far as the skill set. Of course, we got Wahoo Bob on the trip, a lot of the regulars that are with us, and we've got a lot of new folks too. And we had people that traveled from Connecticut, New Mexico. Let's see, I don't think we had too many from Pacific Northwest and NorCal, but we had people from all over the place. Nobody from a different country this trip, although we've had that in the past.
Who's got loose line? Tighten up, tighten up.
Hurry up, guys, come here!
Keep on.
Okay, above you guys.
Woo! You gotta slow down. Good job.
The rooms were so much colder then. My father was a soldier then, and times were very hard when I was young. When I was young, I smoked my first cigarette at 10, and for girls I had a bad yen, and I had quite a ball when I was young.
That'd be a hard one to throw back.
When I was young, it was more important. More painful, and laughter much louder, yeah. When I was young, when I was young, I met my first love at 13. She was brown and I was pretty green, and I learned quite a lot when I was young. When I was young. When I was young, it was more important. Pain more painful, laughter much louder, yeah. When I was young, my faith was so much stronger then. I believed in fellow men, and I was so much older then.
You got the sun on them now. Take a picture.
We had a lady angler aboard, Michelle, and my gosh, she was on the rail the whole time. Good fisher gal. Good fish person, period. And she's also a nurse, and as it turned out on this trip, she had opportunities to fish. But boy, oh boy, we benefited from her nursing skills. We had, I think, 3 episodes on the boat, that required a little bit of attention, from a hook, a deckhand who had a little medical problem. We'll get back to that later. It was wonderful to have a nurse. We had paramedics on the boat, and the boat has some good stuff to help out in case somebody has a medical emergency. Of course, there's a defibrillator and some other supplies. But it was good to have a nurse this trip, and she's a good fishing person. Unfortunately, it was a working vacation for us, it turned out.
Around the corner, guys. Let's around the corner. All the way around the corner.
on this one.
What's up, guys?
How's the Wahoo? Oh, nice. Good. You got some guys, let's have fun.
And stranger still, my self-control I can't rely on anymore. Time surprise, my world is changing.
Over here.
Within this frame, an ocean swells behind a smile I know well. The lovers move, I'm waiting. I am the pilot of the storm. The drift of pleasure I may drown. I built this ship, it is my making. And furthermore, my self-control I could rely on anymore. I know why. I know why. Crazy on a ship of fools. Crazy on a ship of fools. Turn this boat around, back to my loving ground. Oh no. Claims that no man is an island. While I land up in jeopardy, more distant from you by degrees. I walk the shore in isolation, and at my feet eternity draws ever sweeter plans for me. I know why. I know why. Crazy on a ship of fools. Ah, crazy on a ship of fools. Turn this boat around, back to my loving ground. Oh no, ship of turn this boat around, back to my loving ground. Oh no, crazy on a ship of fools. Oh, crazy on a ship of fools. Turn this boat around, back to my loving ground. Oh no, ship of
First call for lunch. First call for lunch.
Got him.
With the lights out, it's a
I do best in falls escape. I feel blessed. Our little group has always been and always will until the end. Hello, 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 hello. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertain us. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Got that on the fly? Leopard? Look at that sucker, dude. Something different. Wow, that's cool. That's awesome. That's a good eating fish, man. That was flag on it, man. Came up and nailed it. It was like, I don't want to carry it. Get over here. Okay. Yeah, you Go on the other side of the
It looks like you own
There you
it.
go. Hold it up, Jason. You can hold it up long
Your
enough.
butt up,
Hurry up. Hurry up.
There you go.
gosh, is that gorgeous or what? Like an aquarium with all these Dorados swimming around. Yeah, just a wonderful bite and a wonderful sight. Just to see that life. I travel for miles and miles and see nothing at all. And the guys up above in the crow's nest saw life. They saw a Dorado jump, and that's the boat moved over that direction, and then we get into this mother of Dorado bites. Now, one thing to mention, on these long-range charters, we can have up to 3 days limits on the multi-day trips. So that would be 30 fish total on fish to count, one per. Actually, Dorado count 2.5 fish. So 2 Dorado count as 5 fish out of your total. So that's one limiting factor, which is a good thing. We love catching Dorado, love to see these darn things. And when they go on a bite like this, they bite stupid. They're just competing for baits. Dorado are an amazing fish. I can be told I'm wrong, but my understanding is they may only live for 5 or 6 years. And during that period of time, they can put on a heck of a lot of weight, and they have a lot of babies. So thinking about Wahoo trolling lures, gosh, a Dorado imitation, it would have been a nice thing to have. But what a beautiful bite this was. Our 3rd day fishing and all those mackerel we made the night before went to good use. We still had some left over, which we put to good use again on the way back up. But making bait was a good thing, and those were some bigger baits, and the Dorado had no issue going after these great big baits that would be hard to get into their muzzle. But they sure did. Great use. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fin. Like an accordion.
When I was a boy, I thought about the times I'd be a man. I'd sit inside a bottle and pretend that I was in a can. In my lonely room, I'd sit my mind in an ice cream cone. You can throw me if you want to, 'cause I'm a bone and I go boop, bip, bip, boop, bip, bip, yeah. If I don't start crying, it's because that I have got no eyes. My father's in the fireplace and my dog lies hypnotized. Through a crack of light, I wasn't able to find my way. Trapped inside a night, but I'm a day and I go oop, bip, bip, oop, bip, bip, yeah. Of something to do. Expressions tell everything. I see one on you. Whoa, 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 whoa. My love, she comes in colors. You can tell her from the clothes she wears. When I was invisible, I needed no light. You saw right through me, you said. Was I out of sight? Whoa, 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 whoa. My love, she comes in colors. I can tell her from the clothes she wears.
I think I'll grab a jacket. Bill, we're looking at 34 pounds. 34 pounds of
She comes in colors.
Right.
You can tell her from the clothes she wears. When I was in England town, the rain fell right down. I looked for you everywhere.
Watch your Wahoo behind you.
Till I'm not around. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Now I feel.
My love, she comes in colors. You can tell her from the clothes she wears.
off the back, guys.
Says it's only one way to stay alive. Keep working for your pension till you're 65. Hey, no, don't dig it up. Going up a big girl, baby. Doing right. You sleep in the daytime.
Yeah.
Said you're doing fine.
Log jam.
Live like you want, let me call you a freak. You'll be a baby factory when you're married a week. Oh no. Have you living in a box? Get out. You're having a good time, baby. You're loving your life. There's more things ahead now, baby. You know why I love you, man. 'Cause you know it's free. Well, that's free. What about the people who scream and shout? Just give them 50 years and they might work it out. Hey, yeah. Well, I'd rather having a good time than a let it all.
Send me no letter. Don't think I could forgive you.
Yeah, right.
for the grass on the hot concrete. We're still working on our summer feet. Cheap gas and ready ice. Trunk music and headlight fights. Dodging the smoke from a riverbank fire. A pretty girl and a pickup line like, hey. We stayed up all night long. Made our drinks too strong. Feeling 10 feet tall. Roll swinging to the water in the middle of the night like, whoa, oh, oh, whoa. Breaking our boots in, stomping on the ground we grew up on. Yeah, we were raised on it. Worked hard and played on it. We had it made on it. We were born and raised on it. Car wash at the custom tent. Sticky quarters and pine tree scent. The only sign that we ever got stuck was the muddy chain in the back of the truck. 5-1 with the 20 on top. 3 guard at the barber shop. Ducking from your ex at the 4-way stop. Turn the music down when you pass the cops. We stayed up all night long. Made our drinks too strong. Feeling 10 feet tall. Rope swinging to the water in the middle of the night like, whoa, oh, oh, breaking our boots in, stomping on the ground we grew up on. Yeah, we were raised on it. Worked hard and played on it. We had it made on it. We were born and raised on it. Mama's prayers and daddy's speech. Front porch philosophies. A little too young and dumb to see just what it all meant to me. We stayed up all night long. Made our drinks too strong. Feeling 10 feet tall. Rope swinging to the water in the middle of the night like, whoa, oh, oh, oh. Breaking our boots in, stomping on the ground we grew up on. Yeah, we were raised on it. Worked hard and played on it. We had it made on it. We were born and raised on it. Yeah. When that sun started sinking, they turned those open signs around. We thought we ran this town, running around just breaking hearts and curfew. Out in the yard with no shoes, staying cool in a nylon pool. Foul ball headed for the parking lot, and on Saturday mornings we'll sleep late. ATVs and fire breaks, worn out jeans, black eyed peas, back roads, and blue skies. I was born and raised on it. About a misbehaved on it. Worked hard and played on it. We had it made.
Gonna get you, baby. It's the last thing I'll do. I'm gonna catch you, baby. It's gonna be me and you. Listen, you go walking by, never look my way. I think your eyesight knows. I even speak to you. I say, hey, back. Not a word will you say. But I've been watching you a long, long time, and I'm about to go out of my mind. Now I'm gonna get you, I ain't lying, and you will be mine. Then you gon' lay it on me. There you are. I'm gonna make you dead on me. You gon' lay it on me, baby. I'm gonna make you dead on me. Tell you
right, Red. Go, Red. Woo! Nicely done, Red. Yeah, Red. Yeah, baby. Finally.
Well, this concludes our 4th day of fishing on the ridge, and a great day of wahoo fishing it was. I think we had 80 wahoo for that last day on the ridge. Fishing was not over. It took us 2 days to get down to the ridge, and it'll take us 2 days to get back up. But Andy had some plans for us on that way back up. I mentioned that one of the deckhands had a little medical problem. He was running a high fever, and Andy wanted to get him back in for some medical attention. So we stopped into Cedros for that purpose, and it was a good chance for us to see what Cedros is like a little bit closer. Usually we're just, in the old days we fished around that island, and now they've got a couple of local operations there, and we no longer are able to fish Cedros. But we did do some more fishing on the way there. We fished Natividad for some nice quality yellowtail. And then we made a rockfish stop on our last day before coming into San Diego, which was a great stop, maybe 3 or 4 drifts for good quality lingcod and nice size Vermilion reds, and no junk, just the reds and malangas from that stop. But again, a variety trip: yellowfin tuna, wahoo, dorado, leopard grouper, I think there are 5 of those, snowy grouper, a little one came up, and then the yellowtail and rockfish and lingcod. That's a variety trip. That's what an 8-day trip's all about. Hope you get the chance to fish with us in the future. I'd like to thank all the anglers that were aboard. The Red Rooster, even though they lost a deckhand for this charter, you could not tell it with Ethan and Art, Jason, Andy, all stepping their game up. Fernando was back inside the galley along with Danielle. Wonderful time, wonderful boat, wonderful group of guys. Hope you have the opportunity in your life to get on one of these things. Wonderful vacations. You may come back tired, but it's a good tired. So, mark out. I'm off the water for a little while. We'll kick this up again in 2020. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your business. And thank you for watching our vids. Much appreciated. Hope to see you on the water. Mark out. Bye-bye.
Thank you.